Hi, good morning, everyone. So yesterday we were hit with the news of Trump tariff. The tariff that is applied to India is 25%, but the joke is that that tweet was deleted. So I'm not sure, what exactly has happened. I tried to do my research, but whatever I could gather was that, that tweet was deleted. So I'm not sure whether that still holds true or not, but nevertheless, probably now we know the reason why the markets were underperforming. Maybe this trade deal was one of the reason, and that is why I highlighted in yesterday's session as well that USD INR was rising higher. So all these are a combination of the tariff which is possibly going to get levied to India. But the thing is that what is in the price and what is not, probably it seems like a lot of negative things are there in the price, and despite that, the Nifty has managed to hold on to prior days low. So let me quickly first share the screen and let you know the setup, and I'll tell you few ways today how you can scan the stocks and find probably the next winners. uh, Please let me know once you can see my screen. This might be a little long session today, because I need to make sure that you all understand all those ideas, how to find the next best stock. So yeah, uh, are you able to see my screen? Please comment yes, and I hope I'm audible. If anyone can just give the confirmation. Okay, someone from my team has given the confirmation. So anyways, let's get on. So, see, there are, okay, thanks, Anand, for the confirmation. So, see, first, once we check the Nifty index, I have been talking about this that the Nifty index is trading in a channel that is on a downward sloping channel. And I think today, if you see, the Nifty index has taken support at the lower end of the channel. Okay, let me draw the. So, this is the channel that I'm talking about. Okay, there was a through under over here, but now the Nifty index is taking support of this channel and trying to rise higher. Okay, so this is a good sign, and basically what is more heartening to see is that the previous low is not broken, but sadly for many of the other indices like Bank Nifty and all, the low has been broken. So let us see. So as we go forward, I'll mention you which are the sectors also to watch out for. I was checking few sectors which have not broken their previous low. Okay, so I'll talk about that as well. So the first thing is this, that somewhere over here we are trying to take support. Now let me also be very clear with the levels. See, at this point of time, when there is certainty, when there is uncertainty, I would tend to focus more on the levels. Okay, so for me, the 40-hour exponential average, that is like an important resistance level on the upside, and this on the lower side, which is 24,598, that is an important support. Okay, if the low breaks, then I would be expecting somewhere around these levels. Okay, that is 24,450 to 24,500 sort of levels on the downside. I don't think that this should be breached in a hurry, because even if you see the weekly chart, you would realize that the 20-week average is also coinciding around that part, and we are almost 1, 2, 3, fourth, and this would be the fifth week that we will be down. So sorry, just give me a minute. Okay, so this will probably be the fifth week where we will be down. So at some point of time, at least the bounce should be coming, and that is also what the sentiment data is also telling us. So I'll touch upon that also. But yes, in terms of levels, the 40-hour exponential average at 24,859, that needs to be broken on the upside to see some up move, And on the downside, if the low is broken, then 24,450 to 24,500, that is the levels to watch out for, especially in the near term. Okay. Now, so yeah. So now when we look at the index, and in fact when we look at the other sentiment index as well. Okay. So what is happening is that, all of them. So see, this is something that is very important to understand. Okay. There will be some divergences as well, but broadly, this should eventually unfold. Okay. I mean, if these are oversold zones, then at some point of time we should be able to see a bounce. Now the only question that we are trying to, I mean, even one thing that I'm trying to figure out, that is the bottom done over here, or are we going to go all the way till here and only then bounce back? I mean, that is now the guessing point, which is there. But looking at almost everything, it feels like, we should be able to get bounce sooner or later, because as I told you, swing, we I mean, if at all this low would have been hit, then there would have been a positive divergence. But anyways, it is still above the previous low. The average swing, which is a lot more slower than swing, that is still in oversold zone. If you see the OIPCR, which is also something that I see for short term, that is also at the lower end of the range. I had explained you about this in yesterday's session. Even if you see the diffusion indicator, all the short term things, in fact, the Nifty index uh, today is down, but the stocks within that, it has not gone down that much. Okay. And if you see the small cap, mid cap, almost a similar trend over there. But basically, what is happening is that it is still above the previous low. So you can see for the mid cap index over here, the percentage was 17. Now here it is 22. So of course, the day has not ended. uh, it might also, so see, as we speak, it has updated and it has gone to 16, but it is also approaching its previous low as well. So that is one thing. Small cap also, it did bounce back yesterday, but it is also still in oversold zone. So see, what happens is that something like this can happen, right? But eventually a pullback has to happen, and as I have been mentioning repeatedly, if at all you're bearish, ideally a good pullback is what will make sense, because if 100-point pullback, I mean, it doesn't give you a risk reward. Okay. So that is what, these sort of indicators will help you to be rational and wait patiently for your trades setups. Okay. But as I have been telling you, that the medium term indicators are only getting worse. Okay, which means that from pessimism to now extreme pessimism that is happening. So if you see the FIIs, they are continuously shorting. Probably tariff is one of the reason I can think of. But if you see the FI short position, this is now the second most highest short position on record. Okay. So if you can zoom out, and if you see the past data as well, they have never been such short. Okay. Now this is the second time that they have been a lot short, and this is all after Trump getting elected. So see, one thing I'm not sure is that, is the range shifting? I mean, we don't know this. We will see, and we'll figure it out. But at this point of time, sometimes absolute number could be misleading, but that's where you can see the percentage long as well. Okay, so percentage long as well is also 14 now, and you would see that, such lower levels don't sustain for a very long time. Okay, eventually pullback has to happen, and I think that is what even this is indicating. Uh, so so for the pullback, as I told you, I mean, for a sustainable pullback or an up move also, we need the Nifty index to break out from the channel, okay, which is over here that we draw. So it needs to break out from this channel, and that's where, we can then think of a sustainable recovery. But if at all, it has to falter and fall in the medium term, then what might end up happening is that you will get a pullback till here, or maybe till here. It will give you an indication that the channel is broken out, and people would get bullish, but then from here it will go down. Okay. But when it comes over here, as I mentioned, many of the short term indicators we'll have to monitor how they behave, and after that we will take a call, like, what, how do we think about it, and so on. But at this point of time, somewhere, I feel that a pullback is due now, somewhere either till year or till 25 to 50 or so, and then we'll take it from there and we'll see. If something wrong has to happen, then it will all happen if the Nifty index breaks and sustains below 24,450. Okay, so that is like the lower end of the range, after which I will be a little scared to be, this bullish, and keep thinking of a bounce. If if this range is broken on the downside, then we'll need to respect the price action and see what happens next. Okay, so now that, given that we are very much close to the support zone, there are few ways in which you can scan the stocks. Okay, now these are little bit more of a positional type of scan, so I'm not sure, I mean, this might not help the intraday traders, but what it might certainly do is that it will help them to give, I mean, it will help them to identify which are the stocks that are in bullish trend, and then they can, trade on their own time horizon. But see, there are, as I mentioned, there are 3 to 4 ways how you can scan it. Okay, let me, yeah. So let me do it one by one. See, one scan is the moving average scan that you can do. Okay, so for the moving average scan, you have to go to the scanner, you have to go to technical scanner and exponential moving average. Okay, here I had already put a scan. See, right now what I'm doing is that, let's not take all the stocks, but let's take the total market, which consists of 750 stock. Okay, now over here, this is see, what I've done is that, I see Nifty index topped out on 30th June. Okay, so let me take 27th closing. So this was the highest point in terms of closing basis, right? So what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to find the list of stocks that have continuously traded above the 40-day exponential average. Okay, these are the stocks that have traded above 40-day exponential average since June of 27. Okay, look back period is nothing but the point from which you want to see whether those stocks have traded above the 40 or no. Okay, so here when I do, I get, almost a list of 114 stocks, within the 750 basket that we have of the total market, right? So here, now these are basically the stocks that are relatively strong, because in this the Nifty index has been falling, but these stocks have been making newer highs, and they have been trading above the 40-day exponential average. So for us, 40-day exponential average is like a very important medium term support level. Okay, so if these stocks have not broken, broadly these stocks will be in an uptrend. So this is the first way how you can scan the stocks. Okay, if you have any own, I mean, if you have your own criteria, you can still put it over here, and you can keep scanning the stocks. Okay, and you can see which of the stocks you find it more lucrative and better to trade. So using look back period is one way. Okay, the second way is to go to the price action and find the stocks which are making new 52-week high. Okay, in this I have selected all FNO, I mean all Nifty stocks, but if we can do the same for the total market also over here, and here I can see there are 13 stocks that have made new 52-week high even when the markets are falling. Okay, in fact, if you know this car trade, I had made a video of this was the stock that had not broken the 20-week average, I think, for a very long period of time. So that's where this stock had come to the radar. So that way, you can do a lot of scans. So this is the other way, where you're trying to find the relative outperformers. Okay, you can do the same thing with near 52-week high as well. In the basket, if you do Nifty total market, Okay, you will get around 56 stocks which are near the 52-week high, and this is again something that you might find helpful. Whatever you find helpful, just simply go and make a watch list, and you will be able to at least keep these stocks on your radar. Okay, now uh, the the third way to scan the stock is through the heat map. Okay, if you want to have a bottom up, I mean top down approach, so what you will do is that in terms of Nifty price action, what you will do is that try to search the stocks that have, I mean, what has been the price performance between 27 June to 31st July. Okay, and you will get this. So FMCG, pharma, healthcare, microcap. I mean, when I saw this name, I was a little surprised. But if you see microcap, there has been a lot of outperformers that we have seen over here. So, if you want to add them, just click on the filters. Okay, over here. So this is greater than 5%, 2 to 5%, and and 0 to 2%. Okay. So these are all the stocks that have actually given positive return when the Nifty index were falling, when the Nifty index was falling. So simply, if you choose the filter, then whatever are in the filters only that you will be able to get it in the watch list. Okay. So that is another way how you can scan it. So this is the way. And if you're an FNO trader, you can do the same thing for the FNO basket, and you will see Glenmark, Bosch, Laurus, Paytm. These are all the stocks that have actually given positive return. So even in the Nifty, in the FNO basket, there are somewhere around 41 stocks that have actually given positive return. Okay, in fact, not just 41, but if I add 16 also, so somewhere around 57 stocks, they have actually given positive return. Now, please understand one thing. Okay, if these are outperformers, that doesn't mean that you go and buy the very next day or the same day, but you will have to do some of the analysis, because what happens is that when there is a pullback, many of the laggards may try to bounce back, and that's where these guys will take a back seat. And then once again, when the correction or consolidation is complete, they will again start rising higher. Okay, so this is something that you need to keep in mind, that if you're trying to find the outperformers, make a list of them, keep them on your radar, and wait patiently for the signals to happen for you to enter. Okay, now this was the fourth way, this was the third way how you can scan. Okay, one that I mentioned was the look back period. Second, which I mentioned, was near 52-week high, near 52-week high and new 52-week high. And the next one is through heat map, which I mentioned. And if you're an FNO guy, and you are particularly more interested about the futures open interest as well. Okay, so what you would want to do is that go to futures. Okay, go to heat map in futures, select the same custom date, and what you will see is over here. Now this you will start seeing along with the open interest. So there are 42 stocks where prices have risen higher and the open interest have also risen higher. So this shows that there is a long built up in these stocks. Okay, uh, now, see, long built up is one way. This way you're trying to chase the performers. The other thing, particularly, which I am more interested in, and this is my personal way of looking at it, is basically to see the short build up and where there are more shorts. Okay, so those are the stocks that you might want to focus on, because whenever the recovery happens, maybe if the setups are good, then these are the stocks where you might end up seeing a short covering rally, which will be much more fast and swifter. Okay, so you can choose your way. If you want to know like how to catch the short built up stocks, how to trade on that, and how to think about it, there is a detailed video that we have done in the help section. Go to the this rollover analysis not just cover rollover, but it also catches how to find the stocks where there are a lot of short built up, and then how to you know time it basically. So that is what is explained over here. Rollover analysis, think of it as we are seeing after expiry, but even during the during this day, during the expiry, when the say for example August expiry would be ongoing, right? So even in between that, these things are applicable. It's just that you have to forget that you're seeing a rollover chart, and you have to see that you're seeing an OI interpretation chart. Interpretation remains the same. Okay. So 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 again, you will be able to identify you know the stocks that you might want to focus on if you can look at this video. And another way within heat map of thinking is that, this was the one, right? Look back period and all. And also, if you want to take just a generic one of 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and you want to spot where is it that, price action has been, bearish and so on, you can also choose your time horizon, and the list of stocks will be coming accordingly. Okay. So these are few ways how you can scan the stocks. And as I told you, see, all I mean, I would be so the thing is that, see, I am expecting a pullback eventually, and maybe a rally as well, if at all we end up breaking this major resistance zone on the upside in the medium term, because the medium term indicators are pointing towards that. But if at all this zone is broken on the downside, that is 24,450, if that important support level is broken on the downside, then I will be a little more watchful and see what is happening, and then wait a proper evidence for the market to reverse. Okay. So see, this is how I am thinking at this point of time. And honestly, I have just told you the process. How do we find out the stocks, and how do we try to make uh, how do we try to think, okay, which are the stocks that are going to lead? Because think of it this way, that when the market was bad and it was not doing anything, the scans method that I showed you, those were the stocks that were either holding out, or they have even been going higher. So that is where probably the people are more interested in. And that is how you can find out with the different ways of scan which I showed you. So now, in case if you have any any questions, I can take it up. Sir, okay. So someone has asked about how much more fall. I guess I addressed that. There is one news. There is one question from Mahesh. Have question regarding average swing, where if we take October 7 to low again, how can we identify high probability? Yeah. So yes, good question, Mahesh. So it then actually boils down to the trend analysis, but I'll just take up this question. So I think you're mentioning about this point, right? Over here, the average swing. Sorry, average swing was over here. So Mahesh, please understand, whenever the relevance of swing and average swing is for very, very short term. Okay. Basically, think of it this way, that if the markets are bearish, okay, see, everything doesn't fall in a straight line, right? So, or everything might not go up in a straight line, so there will be pullbacks in between. That is what it will help you to time. Okay. And if you remember, I have always told you to think from a trend analysis perspective as well. Okay. Which means that so honestly, the template that I have made is this. Okay. Where I combine swing and average swing. Now when swing and average swing, both of them come towards the same point. Okay, come towards the same point. At some point of time, there is likely to be a pullback or a sideways consolidation. Okay, now in this sideways consolidation, you have to figure it out whether are we going to move higher or are we going to fall. Okay, so if you see for the current setup as well, both of them have come to the oversold zone, maybe not that much oversold. Okay, but when I'm doing the trend analysis, we are into this channel. So at some point of time, I would be expecting a recovery. So whether this crosses above 40, I mean on the daily 40, that is one thing I have to watch out for. And then the other thing is this resistance zone. So if at all it has to fall more, as I mentioned, what might happen is that you may get a pullback till here, in which case swing and average swing will become something like this. Okay, average swing may or may not go towards the high fully if we don't see a very strong pullback, but it will basically get off to an oversold zone and go up, consider, I mean, to a decent level. And after that, when there is a resistance over here, and then we are getting a sign of reversal, that's where the swing will start falling, and that will be the time then to be careful. Okay, but what swing and average swing does is that it will help you to catch this short term pullback. That's about it. I mean, it won't help you to catch the next leg of up move. The next leg of up move will be caught through the other medium term indicators like FII positioning, client positioning, and so on. But the whole purpose of the swing is, see, understand that, try to think of it this way. Okay, that Trump has mentioned that tariff is going to come and India is falling. Okay, now if the swing are at lower levels, okay, especially around the oversold zone, it would be very difficult to make money on the short side. Let me put it that way. So there is always a risk of a pullback. That is the thing that swing will help you with. Now say for example over here, okay, now we are falling, so over here we were falling for almost 7-8 days continuously. Okay, and there will be this FOMO to short, right? So what swing will help you to do is that it will help you to wait, I mean, it will help you to be patient, wait for the pullback. And then when the daily swing, because I told you that daily swing is very fast. Okay, so even 2-3 days of pullback, it might even come back to 80 or 90. So then wait patiently for that levels to come, and when the swing comes to 80 or 90 levels, then assess whether price action wise have we seen a turnaround or no, in terms, I mean, have we seen the bearish trend turning around? If the answer is no, then be careful. There is going to be a next leg on the downside. Okay, so similar thing you can see over here. There was a drop from 24,779 to 24. So there was almost a 1,200 point drop. After that, we got a decent pullback, right? And that was to the 40-day exponential average. Then this gap got filled. Everything happened over here. And at this point of time, swing got to the overbought. And after that, it fell. Okay. So swing helps you to be a little more disciplined and help you to wait for the right level if at all you want to short. So see, I am open to the idea that the Nifty index might even fall more, but for that I need a decent amount of pullback for me to say that the risk reward is in my favor. If I just want to short impulsively, maybe I might end up getting 100-200 points, but there will always be a risk of a pullback. Okay, so say for example over here, when the daily averages got broke on the downside, okay, I mean, average swing was somewhere over here, and it was already showing a positive divergence. Okay, can I short in such a market and make money? The answer is possibly no. Okay, so that's where eventually what ended up happening was there was a pullback, and this pullback halted around the previous high. And if you remember, in the stream also, uh, I had repeatedly mentioned that somewhere around this zone is a important medium term support zone. Okay, eventually it faltered over there and then corrected. But of course, I mean, given that the medium term indicators that also bearish, I did not honestly think that there will be this bigger decline that can come. But as I mentioned, I mean, if at all the next leg of the down move has to come, ideally I would think that we will come somewhere over here, or maybe to a decent level where stocks might also end up seeing good pullback. And after that, if it has to fall, then maybe we might end up making something like an HNS as well. Okay, so that is how I am thinking about it right now. Let's see how it unfolds. But anyways, the good part is that we are doing this session every day, so we all can monitor together and see how the indicators and the price action is behaving. I hope that answers your question, Mahesh. I gave a little bit bigger explanation because so that you understand the context. And main thing of swing and average swing is that first you understand the trend, whether it is bullish or bearish. If it is bullish, then every time it comes to 40, or I mean it comes to 20 or 10, think of buying opportunity if the prices are trading above the 40-day exponential average. If the prices are trading below the 40-day exponential average and swing average swing, both of them are coming towards oversold at the same time, then if not anything, then at least conservatively think of a bounce. And in that bounce, when those oversold readings are gone away, then evaluate whether there is a better shorting opportunity that you are getting or not. Okay, I think that is the main purpose of swing and average swing. It helps you to time the market a little more precisely in that sense. So are there any other questions? Any other questions that you'll have on scanning, and how did I scan, or why did I scan those stocks? I did give you the reason, but if you have any follow-up to that, you can put it over here. I'll wait for a minute. If I don't see any more questions, then I may have to end this session. So for the any views on Tata Motor? See, one thing that I told you was that Nifty Auto Index is relatively better, but the problem is that Tata Motor is not doing well, and I think there is some news of acquisition that they are doing, and market is not liking that. But see, what you can do is that see the chart, and at this point of time, the open interest is relatively very low, right? Which means, I mean, people are sort of neutral to, you know, you can say that sort of neutral they are, because you're not seeing much open interest rise as well. Even in this decline, there was a minor built up, but that again, in this sideways consolidation got covered. So there is not much that is happening over here. So then, what you can do is that you can actually go and do the trend analysis, okay, to what it is doing. So say Tata Motors, if I see the chart. So if I see the daily chart, I mean, it is into the bearish mode right now. So, you know, what I would want to see is that, break above the previous high, or basically, this was actually a flag pattern somewhere over here. Okay, so after a pullback, there was a consolidation, and now again it has gone back down. So ideally, what I would want to think is that wait for the averages to be broken on the upside. Maybe when that happens, you might also end up seeing RMI seeing a bullish crossover. So, I would think that you should ideally wait for that rather than preempting. Even if I see the weekly chart, it has taken the resistance at the 40 week and it has gone down. So this is actually not a good sign. Okay. So if at all I want to feel confident about the medium term reversal, I would ideally wait for the 40 week to break on the upside, which is still, quite far. I mean, 10% away from the current levels. But that is more of a medium term look, because if it breaks about on the upside, then, you will start anticipating if not anything, then at least a retracement of this entire pullback, which itself will be very significant. But if you are a short term guy, then watch out for the break above the averages and wait for the RMI to give you that bullish crossover, because that will be the first sign of reversal. Then of course you can draw the trend lines and see, I mean, whether this downward channel is broken or no. But at this point, till the time that doesn't happen, there is a risk of this happening, where it might even fall back towards the lower end of the channel. I'm not saying that will surely happen, but that is the risk that we have at this point of time. Can you elaborate? Sanjay ji says, can you elaborate RMI scans at 315? So, Sanjay, what you have to do is that you have to at see understand one thing, that whenever a new buy or new sell, whatever is happening, okay, so that would be happening, say, I mean, that is the signal for today, right? So uh, so basically, to get a confirmed signal, because see, understand it this way, okay, let me give you show you in paint. So think of it this way, that this is during the market, okay. So this, so say for example, this is the daily chart, okay. This is the daily chart, and the circled one is today's move, that is from year to year. So because of this up move, what will happen is that, say this is RMI, okay. So think of it this way, that because of this up move, the RMI is going to give you this bullish crossover today, but this is, you are seeing at 11:30 a.m. Okay. Now think of it this way, end of market. I mean, towards end of market. Okay. And over here, the time is say 3:15 p.m. Now, what is happening is that this same stock, okay, wait, let me take it black. Now it has given up all its gain and it is just over here, okay. Rather than this much of gain, now only gain that is left is a handful of gain. So say for example, it was up over here 4%, but it is now only up 1%. Okay. Now what this might do with the scan is that it will affect the scan. So what will happen over here is, the green line is the RMI. So say this was the RMI. Okay. Now the RMI level will come down a bit. So what may happen is that, red line. So this is the signal line. So this is how the RMI setup then will be. So at 11:30 it was showing you a new buy, but at 3:15 it will be showing you as still a sell only and not a new buy, because the prices have come down. So that is why it is important to scan at 3:15, because that is where you sort of get a judgment whether are we going to see a bullish crossover or no. Okay. So after 3:15, if you're getting a bullish crossover, that means for the end of the day it is confirming that, and that should help you to get that stock in the momentum, because what will happen is that it has not given a bullish crossover, and then the prices goes down, and you will again see RMI going into sell mode. So something like this actually happened in the bank nifty index. So over here, okay, when it was actually trying to turn around over here, or sorry, or it was over here, okay. So somewhere on this candle, when it had moved higher, the bank nifty was actually showing a bullish crossover during the day, but by the end of the trading session it gave up the gains. So that's why the bullish crossover was not there, and eventually it fell further. Okay, so that is basically the importance of 315. I hope that uh, I hope you understood, Sanjay, the importance of RMI scan at 315. Mahesh, very good. Thanks for taking. Sure, sure. Welcome, Mahesh. One thing I observed is there is divergence in average swing and there is a high probability of a decent bounce. So yes, you're right, Mahesh, because what happens is that average swing, so average swing, think of it this way: average swing is nothing but your signal line. So when this turns around, and this, as you know, turns around a little more slowly, right? And it needs few days of gains for it to turn around. So wait, let me show you this. So this red line is nothing but your average swing. Okay. So we are judging average swing the percentage, whether they are rising or falling. Okay. Now for it, for the average swing to rise higher, it will take few days of up move for it to turn around, and that's why you will end up seeing a significant more pullback when average swing starts turning around. Okay, and so your observation is very right. uh, so your observation is right. Okay, that is how you so that is why you might end up seeing a lot more decent gain when the average swing actually starts turning around. Okay. uh Devesh, so bulletin board, the news comes actually, whenever you get it, and it comes with a lag. So honestly, it is not robust as Reuters and so on, because it costs a very big amount to get those news. But uh, it is basically as in when we get from the vendor, we pass it on. So there might be a decent lag in that. Santosh, all your indicators are great. They work well. I want to ask you, this indicator works on gold, Bitcoin? If not, so Santosh, which indicators are you talking about? Because understand this thing that for the sentiment indicators, we are looking on a basket of stock. If you ask RMI works on Bitcoin, the answer is yes. I mean, I can show you this, but anyways, the Bitcoin is not available on Strike yet, and this indicator we had built for ourselves when Strike was not there. But over here also, you would see those setups also playing out very well. So see something like this. When your prices are above the averages and it gives you a bullish crossover, it will tend to give you good moves. But if you ask sentiment works on Bitcoin, the answer might be no. That is because in sentiment we are seeing a basket of stock. Okay, Bitcoin is just one thing, and that's why it may not work that well. I mean, it might not work only. I mean, I'm not sure if it works or not, but it it might not work because the basket of stocks, we are trying to judge the sentiment based on that. I mean, uh, Bitcoin has no relation with the Indian stocks, right? So that's where these indicators will won't work on Bitcoin, but RMI will certainly do, because RMI, I mean, the indicator is being formed based on the price action of Bitcoin. So what to see on the RMI scan? Sanjay ji, it is the same that I mentioned. Na? You just have a look at it. You will be able to understand. Go to the help section and please, go explore this video, identifying best stocks for buy and sell opportunities. You will be able to understand, because I can't, really explain you. That is a little bigger concept, but all the nuances are there in this video. Okay. Yes, thank you so much, Devesh. So I think yes, so it's 11:45 now. I think we're done for the session. Let's wait for tomorrow. And yes, before that, I mean, there was one thing I missed out. So yesterday, when I had seen the rollover for the Nifty was not that great. I mean, it was in mid 60s or so. So yesterday it was 65. Ideally, good roll. I mean, high rollovers are around 79, You can see over here almost around 79 or so. In this case it was even 80. So we need to see how the rollover is. But yes, I mean, from yesterday I think we have significantly picked up. I think yesterday when we were doing it was 50-55, but from there, whether we get to that 79 mark or so. So we'll see. Let's check this, and let's talk about the derivative data more tomorrow, because that's where the expiry will be done and we will be able to talk more about it. Okay. So so that's it for today's session. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope, and do try to give it a shot for those scans. And if not anything, bring those stocks on your radar through observing them on watch list. Usually, in my experience, what I've seen is that if you want to see the winners of next 6 to 12 months, this might probably the area where you might be able to find it. So even in the coming days, we'll try to do a little more hard work on this, and let's see. I mean, even I'll try to you know put all those stocks in my watch list and see how it behaves going forward. So that's it for today's session. Thanks for joining, and see you tomorrow.